Hello, everybody. It is CJ Miller. I'm in my apartment in downtown Shreveport, Louisiana. Across the Red River is beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. And the purpose of this video, I made a cooking video earlier, the chicken, the one pot chicken. I did decide to have some spaghetti uh, pasta. So I have some half length spaghetti that I just put in a pot with an appropriate amount of water and just boiled it down. And the water, I didn't even strain. I let the starch stay in the water and basically um, cook the pasta to an al dente. There are several recipes or tips that you can find online for taking a spaghetti and putting it into the pot, and it's a no drain method for cooking your spaghetti to an al dente. Al dente meaning to the tooth, uh, where it's uh, where it's a malleable done pasta, but there's still just a little bit of a firmness so that it's not mushy, you know. And the one of the reasons why I love this no drain method of pasta, which uh, if you're going to have if you have a excess water in the pot when you're done, you can kind of you know you'll want to drain it for like larger amounts of pasta, but for smaller amounts it is so easy to do. This is what I'm getting at. You can drain it if you need to, but really just shallow cooking this in a shallow amount of water. What I do is I take the pasta out and I put maybe uh, two times the amount or two times the height uh, of water to the amount of pasta that's in the pan, and just kind of I put it in at the beginning. I don't even boil the pasta first. I just put the pasta in. It's a no stick skillet, and just kind of like let it go, turn it on, let it go, and uh, you know dependent upon the heat that determines how long you want to cook it. But the whole idea, maybe 10 to 12 minutes, depending upon, this is a spaghetti. If you're doing a angel hair, it's going to be a lot less, maybe like 5 minutes, or whatever. But really, for a hearty dish like this, use use a spaghetti or even a thicker pasta. And so what I did, I told you I took uh, the green cooking sauce, the Latin cooking sauce. Basically, it's a pesto. You can use a pesto. You can use any of these. That had a lot of things in it. Pesto traditionally has a lot less added to it, but this is such a basil-y, cilantro-y type aroma. It's essentially a pesto. But yeah, actually, no, I didn't see any nuts in the list of ingredients. Pesto sometimes has it's a basil and nut combination, but it's very very you can work with the basil. You can do a sauce similar to this. Uh, you can basically take your fresh herbs uh, and pulverize them and concoct your own. Green herbs are very forgiving. A little bit of oil, put them in a blender if you need to get this texture. Although there's something wonderful about taking a mortar and pestle and just kind of like working these things together. Um, you know. Anyway, with the al dente pasta, and just kind of topped it with two or three of the chicken, and laid a little of the sauce over it, and it makes a wonderful presentation. And if you wanted to, with company, you could serve this with the salad and some garlicky, buttery bread. It'd be wonderful. Um, and oh, what wonderful dessert would go with something like this? I would say for something like this, go with like finish it off with coffees and a lot of sweet creams, Italian sweet creams, that kind of stuff, and maybe with a cheesecake. If the cheesecake it needs to be of the lighter variety, so you want to get a really aerated type cheesecake. Uh, um, and in smaller portion. Or simply you could do a one of the custards, creme brulee, or even if you wanted to go, because creme brulee we think more French, but it's also very similar to a flan, which is uh, typically thought of as a Mexican custard. To get it in a lot of Mexican restaurants around here anyway. But it's basically an egg custard, you know, that has like a caramel versus a crisp, melty, sugary. And actually, to myself, it's like, if I don't have a kitchen torch, and right now I don't, uh, the one I did have went out, and I just haven't replaced it yet. And I don't do a lot of creme brulees unless it's holidays or whatever. But typically, I'd like to melt the sugar and get that crust. But if I can't, then I'll actually put caramel on top of the brulee. Yeah, that works too. It's a very similar flavor, wonderful, similar experience. So you could do really, really great. Uh, I don't drink, um, but if I were the sommelier, I would say, you know, I would go with, kind of a dry Bordeaux with this. You know what I mean? I would go. Typically, you know, just for the sake of, oh my God, it's a light colored food, and I want to put it with the Pinot Grigio kind of middle. No, 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 no. I go to be out of the box with it. Pair this with uh, a Bordeaux. There's one that we loved back in the day, and if there are bottles of it still around, and I don't drink anymore, but it's like oh my God, how wonderful it must be now. But the label was cake bread, and it was a red wine that just had like a great flavor. That's so you could do that. I actually don't. I would maybe just um, I don't know. For me, coffee, soda, you know, uh, sparkling water or something like that would work. But yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go eat. Love and light. Peace. Good night.